Hi everyone, Dr. Debbie here for your clinic roundup question. And the question I got the most? Hey, I'm doing everything right to lose weight, but the scale's just not budging. Why? Well, it could be inflammation. If you've worked with me for a while, you know that my view is that if comparison is the thief of joy, inflammation is the thief of health. And the reason being is that all chronic degenerative disease is in an inflammatory environment. That's all. Diabetes, heart disease, cancer, and obesity. The reason inflammation is so detrimental is it causes what's called a cell danger response in the body. Now, this is a protective mechanism where the body thinks it's under attack and it tells the cells to protect itself. So the cell membrane becomes stiffer and there's a reallocation of nutrients. Bad news when it comes to weight loss and metabolism. What happens is glucose that's in the blood normally should get taken into the cells and used for energy. Instead, the cells are told, leave that glucose alone, and this can lead to insulin resistance and a whole change in metabolism. So that change in metabolism, and this is why. So here's a visual. Here are adipose cells. Now, the more adipose cells you have, especially around the belly area, the more inflammatory cells get recruited. So we see that there's more neutrophils, more macrophages. Those are your normal immune cells, but then also the tumor necrotic factor, IL-6 and leptin. These all increase and they can lead to a cell danger response. And the reason that increase in leptin, you might think is a good thing, leptin is produced by the body to tell the brain, hey, stop eating. You're full, we don't need to make any more. But instead, this can also lead to a leptin-like resistance picture. Let's do a little bit of Metabolism 101 replay. So normally what happens when you're hungry, the brain gets a signal from this hormone here, ghrelin, that says, hey, eat food. So we eat food, we get our protein, carbs, or fats, which then get broken down into smaller molecules, and ideally get used for energy, so proper cell metabolism. And then conversely, if we don't eat, instead where we have storage, that gets taken up, gets turned into glycogen, and then again gets used for energy. So that's what we want to see happen. And then once we have enough stored energy or we're no longer hungry, leptin should tell the brain, hey, stop eating. Now, when there's too much leptin, just like when there's too much insulin or glucose, there's a change. We can get resistance. So leptin resistance is also a big problem when it comes to weight loss when there's a lot of inflammatory cells. Here's a little brief overview of the hormones that are involved in metabolism. The leptin, which, as we said, stops hunger, ghrelin, which increases hunger, glycogen, which raises glucose, but then should get used for energy production, insulin, which takes glucose out of the blood, adenopectin, and growth hormone. So what can you do? What can you do if you have this increased inflammation? Well, the first thing is to seal the body's protective barriers. Just like outside we have skin to protect us, in the gut we have cells to protect us as well, but this is an area of exchange from outside to inside. So protecting and healing this area is so important, why it's so often heard that your gut is the seat of health. So things like probiotics, vitamin D, phytochemicals can all be really supportive when it comes to gut health. And then figuring out the cause of inflammation or that cell danger response. Anything from trauma, low-grade infection, hormone dysregulation, stress, food sensitivities, or even that high number of adipose cells around the body, and then to treat that underlying cause. So a low inflammatory diet or whatever that cause could be. So guys, I know weight loss is hard. I've had to struggle with weight my whole life, but having that right mindset, understanding what your personal obstacles to success are, figuring out your terrain, what could be causing the inflammation, hormone dysregulation, all the things we talked about, and then having a clear mindset. So good luck, and I will be back with you in a couple of weeks to give you the next clinic roundup.